Officially a sellout here in Indianapolis. The roof, as you can see, is open on a crisp September day in the Midwest, getting set for the Jaguars and the Colts. Both teams with new head coaches. Mike Mularkey spent 4 seasons in Atlanta as the Falcons offensive coordinator, trying to bring a spark to the Jacksonville Jaguars, and Chuck Pagano coming off his first win as a head coach in the NFL over from Baltimore, where he spent 4 seasons, a total of 28 years in professional and college football, ushering in a new era here in Indy. Jacksonville won the toss. They will have the football to start the game. This is the 23rd meeting between the Colts and the Jaguars. Indy holds a 15-7 series edge, but Jacksonville swept both games a season ago. From 5 yards deep in the end zone, Parmalee takes a knee, and they'll bring it out to the 20. Blaine Gabbert brings out the Jaguars. Mixed reviews to start the season. Solid in week 1, but unable to move the offense last week. Just 53 total yards passing against a very good Houston Texans defense. Colts trying to win their 2nd straight and move above 500 here early in the season. Jacksonville trying to avoid an 0-3 start.
Already there's a player down on the football field on that opening kickoff.
And it's Greg Jones, the fullback.
Yeah, he was dropping back. He was actually on the kickoff return team, and it was a little bit of a non-contact injury. And he struggled to get to his feet and then couldn't continue. He took a knee, and now the trainers had to come out right after the opening kickoff on a kick that wasn't even returned. You see there, as you talk about trying to recover and get back on track offensively, the time of possession, total yards, and 3rd down conversions. Head coach Mike Mularkey told us yesterday he's never been around a team that couldn't get at least 1 3rd down conversion for a 1st down.
Just underway. Maurice Jones-Drew, nice hole up the middle on 1st down and out across the 25, close to the 26-yard line. Jacksonville up front, they have had to move some people around. Herb Taylor starts again for Eben Britton at left guard. Backs and receivers. Mojo led the NFL in rushing a year ago, coming back after the 38-day holdout, and he, of course, is the key to this Jacksonville offense. 2nd and 4 for the Jaguars, just underway here in Indianapolis. Jones-Drew trying to get to the outside, fights his way back to the 25-yard line. A swarming Colts defense as they have gone to the hybrid 3-4. Corey Redding came over from the Ravens, knows the system, had a big day last week against Minnesota. Colts think they have a diamond in the rough, and Jarrell Freeman, he's been making plays all over the field. And in the secondary, Vontae Davis has been a major addition, the talented young corner the Colts picked up in a late trade with Miami. 3rd and 5 from the shotgun. Gabbert over the middle. That's caught by Mike Thomas for a 1st down near the 33, a pickup of 8.
Well, already Gabbert playing better than he did a week ago. 1st 3rd down, and they convert it, make it look easy doing so. No surprise, 2 hard runs by Maurice Jones-Drew on 1st and 2nd down, and then the quick hitch to Thomas for the 1st down. This is exactly what Jacksonville would like to do. Last week, their defense was on the field seemingly the entire game. This offense really wants to be just more efficient and give their defense a chance to be fresh in the 4th quarter.
Until Owens was the motion man. He may have had a player jump before the snap, and that is caught by Justin Blackman. Forward progress may have gotten him close to the 40. We'll check the marker. Donovan Briggins is our replacement referee today.
There's a Colt in the neutral zone as the ball was snapped. We'll see if they sort this out, if it is indeed what it appears to be. It hasn't always been in the first couple of weeks of the NFL season.
Offsides. Defense number 92. Penalties decline. 2nd down.
They call that on Jerry Hughes, the right linebacker.
Right in front of you. You can't miss him. He was just trying to anticipate the snap count.
Declining the penalty after a pickup of 7. So 2nd and 3, first possession of the ball game. Drew trying to find some running room, slices through, and is driven out of bounds close to midfield by Cavell Connor, a pickup of 9.
You talk about Maurice Jones-Drew, and it's no secret. We spoke to the Colts on Friday. We spoke to the Jaguars on Saturday. Everybody knows Maurice Jones-Drew is going to carry the football a lot. He expects to. You can see there he averages over 100 yards against the Colts every time they play. They play twice a year. They're in the same division. There's no secrets. And yet, somehow, some way, Maurice Jones-Drew always gets positive yards.
Another first down. Play action. Gabbert incomplete. He's trying to hit LaRon Robinson, former Cowboy who signed with Jacksonville after his breakout season in Dallas last year.
Well, already the Jacksonville Jaguars look better offensively, and this is where a receiver's got to help his quarterback out. Not a bad throw at all by Gabbert. It's on time, it's low, but that's a good thing in that situation. The receiver goes down low, it helps him to avoid the contact. Robinson's got to bring that in.
Had 54 catches for 858 yards and a career-high 11 touchdowns last year. 2nd and 10 after the incomplete pass. Gabbert buys some time and takes off. And out of bounds at the 42-yard line, pushed out by Darrell Freeman. Pickup of almost 9 yards.
Pressure's going to come from the outside. Gabbert does an outstanding job as Hughes works way deep in the backfield. Gabbert tucks it and runs to the same side the pressure comes from. That's a general rule for quarterbacks. If they get pressure from one side, if they can avoid it to that same side, there's usually nobody home. Great pickup by Gabbert on a good rush by Hughes.
Had one of his best games as a pro in the opener against Minnesota. Looks sharp and throwing for 260 yards and 2 touchdowns, but then the entire offense struggled last week against the Texans, and we have a timeout taken by Jacksonville. No score. 11:32 left to go in the first. Jacksonville Jaguars have already converted a 3rd down, something they were unable to do all last week against Houston. Now facing another 3rd and 1, trying to keep this drive going. Power I formation. Quarterback sneak. And he's got it.
Jacksonville has had some success early in games with their first drive, and then it seems to go south on them. But no question, they've already rectified some of the things that plagued them a week ago when they struggled so badly. They converted their first 3rd down, and then they also got a pass completion to their #1 draft pick, Justin Blackmon. So no question they've righted some wrongs from a week ago. Mike Mularkey really frustrated about last week's offensive output.
They only had 9 first downs the entire game already in this drive. Jacksonville with 3. Really feeling the pressure to get a divisional road win today and avoid starting the season at 0-3. They were competitive in week 1, but blown out last week against Houston. Jones threw another nice hole left side, down inside the 35 to the 34-yard line, a pickup of 6.
Watch, this is going to go right straight ahead. Just picking his way. You can see how, and you can't really get a feel for it sometimes on television. When you stand next to Maurice Jones-Drew, it's easy to see why defenders have a hard time finding him in the traffic. He's 5'7", and all those guys in front of him are 6'5", 6'6", and you just lose sight of him.
2nd and 4. Mojo, again, another nice hole up the middle. And he falls forward to the 26-yard line. Tom Zibikowski, the strong safety, made the stop after a pickup of 9. Chuck Pagano called Maurice Jones-Drew a rolling ball of butcher knives.
Well, the thing about it, too, is he's so strong, and you see there, he's so laterally quick. He can pick and choose the hole that he goes through. He's got great explosion, plus his ability to move laterally and pick just a slightly different hole than what was called is really difficult to defend.
And he's been busy already. There's a 6th carry. They run the reverse now. And Cecil Shorts tried to make something out of nothing, but couldn't get back to the line of scrimmage. Fili Moala brought him down.
And this is one of the issues that Jacksonville deals with. You got to find somebody else to help Maurice Jones-Drew, even in the running game. Now, Gabbert can do it a little bit throwing the football, but if you're going to run the football, you got to have somebody or some way or some tactic to take the ball out of Maurice Jones-Drew's hands. In this case, Shorts can't make something out of nothing. It's a 5-yard loss, but that's one of the issues Jacksonville faces. How do you help Maurice Jones-Drew in the running game when he's your only viable option?
2nd and 14. Here come the Colts on the blitz. They pick it up. Checks it down to Maurice Jones-Drew, and he scampers down to the 20-yard line. Jarrell Freeman made the stop. He's been starting at the will with Pat Angerer out and has played spectacular football.
We spoke to Freeman. That's a guy that played in Canada. Really great guy to talk to. Humble, well-spoken. A lot going on upstairs for him. He's a sharp guy.
Out of little Mary Hardin Baylor College in Belton, Texas, near Waco. 3 seasons in Canada. Signed a contract with the Colts back in January and has made the most of his opportunity. Led the team in tackles, has gotten a sack, couple turnovers, and returned an interception for a touchdown. And we have another timeout here in the first quarter. 8:05 left to go in the first. Jaguars on the move.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. McDonald's, value that's as smart as you are. And by TD Ameritrade.
13th play of the drive upcoming. Taking nearly 7 minutes off the clock. Indianapolis has yet to have the football. 3rd and 3 for Jacksonville. Gabbert from the shotgun. Loses the football, stripped away. And the Jaguars fell on it. And guess who? Mathis with the pressure. Guy Wimper fell on the football to keep possession for Jacksonville.
Well, Mathis does a tremendous job just working against Wimper. He finally just gets it. Wimper's doing a pretty good job on, but Mathis with an extra special effort. Wimper's all up around his shoulder pads. Mathis, just by the skin of his teeth, gets in there and slaps that ball. What a tremendous defensive play by Mathis, who's having a great year in the new defensive philosophy.
And one of the best in the NFL at forcing fumbles. 44-yard field goal try by Scobie is good. So Jacksonville draws first blood with 7:13 left to go in the opening quarter. Scobie 4 for 4 in field goal tries this season. In fact, this game features 2 of the best veteran kickers in the league in Scobie and Adam Vinatieri. 14 plays on the drive resulted in the 44-yard field goal. And you can really sense, Steve, that Maurice Jones-Drew starting to find now his game legs after missing 38 days with a holdout. Probably played a little more than was expected in the first 2 weeks of the season, but now back in mid-season form.
Absolutely, and he's a guy that there's no secret. He wants the football in his hand, and the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to give it to him, looking more and more each passing week like the #1 leading rusher in the National Football League from a year ago.
Fielded a yard deep by Hilton, the rookie. And brought down at the 17-yard line. Andrew Luck ready to go to work. 7:07 left to go in the first. Jacksonville 3-0.
Kicking team offsides. 5-yard penalty will be enforced from the end of the kick and into the run. First down.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Verizon. Whatever you want to do, Droid does. And by the all-new Honda Accord. It starts with you.
Well, we heard from our replacement referee, Donovan Briggins, that the kicking team was offsides, and now Indianapolis has elected to re-kick. So that's where we are. T.Y. Hilton is back deep.
That's the option that the Colts have. They can either take the 5 yards at the end of the run, or they can have the team re-kick that, and the official didn't check with Chuck Pagano about what he wanted to do, and Chuck corrected them. And I think it's a good call if tactically you always want to make them re-kick, particularly because it gives you a chance for the home run, and you have a chance for a bigger penalty than a 5-yard penalty.
At the goal line, Hilton. And they will have slightly better field position out to the 26-yard line. Andrew Luck, the #1 overall pick back in April. He was superb last week in getting his first win and leading the Colts down the field in the closing seconds to set up Adam Vinatieri. Talked to the players and the coaches here in Indy. They all tell you that he came into camp with a command and understanding of the offense, earned the immediate respect of his teammates, and that nothing in the game seems too big for this young man. He has made an immediate impact. Colts' first possession of the game from their own 26-yard line. Luck will throw on first down. Now Scampers out of trouble and finally has to throw it away. Kyle Bosworth provided the pressure. Samson Sattelli is back at center this week. Winston Justice returns at right tackle. And the Pro Bowler Reggie Wayne has been outstanding here at the start of the season. Donnie Avery has been a great addition at the other wide receiver spot. He had 9 catches for $111 last week against Minnesota. 2nd and 10 after the incomplete pass. Brown is the lone setback. To Reggie Wayne in the flat. He fights his way to the 30-yard line. Kozlowski made the stop after a pickup of 4. Jags on defense. They can be a load up front with Alu and Terrence Knight clogging up the middle. Linebackers, Kozlowski is the captain of the defense at the mic. And the secondary, Derek Cox is back. Rasheed Mathis starts today at left corner, and Aaron Ross moves over to the nickel. 3rd and 6 on his first possession for the Indianapolis Colts. Weldy Moore has checked in. He's in the backfield with Luck. Stevens in and fires, and that's picked off. A flag is down, so we'll check the penalty. Rasheed Mathis came away with it.
Well, Luck tried to fit the football in, and Mathis was right there. This is going to be interference. Don't know if it's offense or defense.
Austin Collie, the intended receiver.
Jacksonville staying on the field.
Pass interference. Defense number 27. Ball will be placed at the spot of the foul. Automatic first down.
And they call that on the veteran Mathis, the former Pro Bowl cornerback who had been playing mostly in the nickel, but got the start today.
Well, coming back off a major knee injury, you'll see here the protection is Luck. And this is, you notice he hangs on to the football in the pocket, and that's a hard thing. And that right there at the end, that's not pass interference. Might have happened before that.
1st and 10 for the Colts from their own 42. Brown moves the pile for a couple. Last year was really just a shock to the Colts system for their fans as well as the franchise itself, especially for a team not used to losing. The Colts had won 10 or more games for 9 straight years, but Chuck Pagano, Steve, would not use the word rebuilding. He likes to go with reloading.
Yeah, no question, but it's a big task with a new defensive philosophy, a new offensive philosophy, and all new a lot of new players, particularly at quarterback. Tall order.
Vic Ballard, the rookie out of Mississippi State, is in the backfield, and they give it to him on second down. Falls forward to the 48. Kyle Bosworth made the stop. Trying to recover from that 2-14 season.
Yeah, and there you see they're 3 out of the last 4 years before last year they had won the division. Of course, they finished dead last a year ago.
They didn't get their first win until December. So the win in week 2 against the Vikings was a big boost for this franchise and their fans here early in the season. 3rd and 4 for the Colts.
Hey, watch him, Greasy.
Luck steps up, fires to one. He's got some running room. And dives to the 40. Mathis brought him down after a pickup of 12.
Reggie Wayne was double covered on this route, and he just turned around, and Luck guns it between the 2 defenders. Wayne has the presence of mind enough to step away from both defenders and come out of there with the football. You see there the inside-out coverage. Allen and Mathis trying to bracket Wayne and just can't get it done. Great throw and a great route by the veteran receiver.
5-time Pro Bowler, off to a great start with his young quarterback from the Jacksonville 40. Luck. To T.Y. Hilton.
Well, that was a big time throw right down the seam, down the inside edge of the numbers as it was his landmark. Hilton goes right down. You'll see him. Luck's going to step up in the pocket, takes a look down the center of the field, and then throws it right down the numbers to Hilton. He held Przinski, the safety, with his eyes just for a moment and allowed him to fit that pass in there.
3rd round pick out of Florida International. Vinatieri with the extra point. Nice answer from the Colts. 3:42 left to go in the first. 40 yards to Hilton, 7-3, Indianapolis. We talked with some of the veterans here about Andrew Luck. They said he was impressing guys from the first day of camp. He came in with a full understanding of the playbook. Didn't stare down his receivers like a lot of rookie quarterbacks do. Just went through his progression. But there, he was able to hit fellow rookie T.Y. Hilton right in stride for the touchdown. Both teams score on their opening drives, but the Colts find the end zone. Finally, and it bounces out of the back of the end zone. They'll bring it out to the 20.
A moment ago, we watched Przinski. This is Reggie Wayne as he comes in. He's going to draw Przinski this way. This slight hesitation with Przinski right in center field. And Andrew Luck looks at Reggie Wayne just before he releases this, which makes Przinski just late getting there. When you can throw it that hard and that accurately, you can fit it into a pretty good window. Przinski can't recover after knowing that Reggie Wayne was the #1 option. Usually in this offense, he kind of hesitates to come away from him, and that's all Luck needed to fit it in.
4 different receivers in those 4 touchdown passes. The Jags had a 14-play drive in their first possession. Gabbert tried to hit Justin Blackman on the out route. Watch Fantasy Football Today to get game-time player news and active updates to help set your lineup and chat with our experts live every Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern on CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports, and at cbssports.com/live.
As Jacksonville takes over for their second possession of the day, we spoke to them, and to a man, all Jacksonville Jaguars, they thought that they shot themselves in the foot a week ago. We'll see if they can keep from doing that today.
To the ground, Maurice Jones-Drew submarined by Vontae Davis. And let's check in with the fellas in New York for a Week 3 update.
Cincy up 7-0, but
Yeah, the defense may have lost a couple starters, but they didn't lose Ryan Kerrigan. Comes in on the blitz, hits Andy Dalton, ill-advised pass, Rob Jackson interception in the end zone, and the Washington defense scores first, 7-7.
Bill McAtee and Steve Tasker.
JB, Coach Cowher, thank you very much. 3rd and 8. Gabbert from the shotgun. Had time, they checked it down, and Reese Jones-Drew is going to be stopped 3 yards short of a first down by Jarrell Freeman, the Will linebacker.
And I spoke a moment ago about Jacksonville stopping themselves a lot of times last week. You know, you think about how the Colts scored on their last drive. A pass interference call against Rashean Mathis kept that drive alive, and here Jacksonville struggling to get that first down as though they were so productive on their first drive. Now they struggle to get even in within 3rd and short. Can't do it. Have to punt the football away.
Ryan Anger, the rookie out of Cal, has been tremendous. 3rd-round pick. Came in with a 52.6 gross average through the first 2 games. Hilton keeps his feet. There's a marker down as Hilton gets to the outside. He's exciting. Out of bounds, but they may bring this back.
During the return, illegal block in the back. Return team, number 58. 10-yard penalty, first down.
It would have been a 32-yard return, but they bring it back. And once again, let's check in New York with JB and Coach Cowher.
Christian Ponder looking
How
sharp.
about this opening drive against the San Francisco 49ers? 16 plays, 82 yards, capped by this Christian Ponder to Kyle Rudolph, a 1-yard touchdown pass into the second quarter. The Vikings up 7-0 over San Francisco.
All-around sportscaster, Bill McAtee, Steve Tasker.
JB, Coach Cowher, thank you. 1st and 10 now for Indianapolis. We lead at 7-3 from the 27-yard line. Wow. That's something that Chuck Pagano talked with us about. They want to be able to move the football on the ground. They feel like they have to.
No question. They brought Bruce Arians in, who is the offensive coordinator at Pittsburgh, and Chuck Pagano, one of those guys, is a defensive coordinator by trade before he became head coach, so he has a different view of how an offense should be run. He wants to help out both sides of the football, from both sides of the football. Your offense should complement your defense, and by running the football, you do that. You can bet they're a lot different offensively than they were a year ago.
2nd and 7 after the pickup of 3.
Come on.
Slater back over to the other side. Play action. Finally checks it down. That's Dwayne Allen, the tight end, who caught a touchdown pass. His very first NFL reception was for a score last week. Pickup of 5.
You watch Andrew Luck. Now he's moving. He moved Kobe Fleener twice during this pre-snap sequence, and that's one thing the Colts do a lot of now with Chuck Pagano and Bruce Arians. They use a lot of different personnel. They ask a lot of Luck. He's got to move people around. He does shifts and motion. Now a shift is where the player will move before the snap and then get set again. Motion is when he's in motion at the snap. They do all of that a lot, and it's really confusing for a defense.
Seemed to be some confusion on the play as they tried to hand it to Weldy Moore, and he was swarmed under immediately for a loss of 3.
This snap came before he was ready for it. Satele snapped that before the snap count was called for, and that ended up in the broken play. They were completely unready in the backfield. Luck made the most of it, but the offensive line wasn't ready for the ball to be snapped either. Satele was the only one, and that's why the defense was all over it.
Mike Thomas will have room. But not for long. Brought down at the 19-yard line. That's the end of the first quarter. Our score is 7-3. We'll return to Indianapolis after these messages. You're watching the NFL on CBS, home of Super Bowl 47. after the 49-yard punt. They spotted at the Jacksonville 21-yard line, and that's where the Jaguars will take over. 1st and 10. Just underway in the second quarter. 7-3 Colts. Jones-Drew cuts it up. Pickup of 9. NFL's leading rusher last year.
Early on in this game, no question, they're going to give it to him early and often to see if they can get it going, and right up between the numbers, plus getting him involved in the passing game. The question is for Jacksonville, can they find somebody to help him?
Today going over 7,000 yards rushing for his career. Already with 55 total yards, adds to it with that run, but pushed back after a gain of a couple.
Good enough for a first down. So strong up inside, Jones-Drew. He's got such leverage, runs so low. Hard to get him off his feet, particularly up inside.
Chuck Pagano has brought a different defensive philosophy here to Indianapolis, much more aggressive. During the Peyton years, they always had been a bend, don't break, cover 2 kind of team. Now they don't want to give up anything. They want to force teams to fight for every yard, starting with the running game. Quick strike, incomplete, intended for Blackman, and that's a pass you got to hang on to.
Yeah, there's no excuse for that. That's just he had to work as hard as he could not to catch that. Now they go no huddle, which we spoke to Gabbard about. He said they've got it. He loves it. We'll see if he can make it work.
2nd and 10. Gabbard with time. They're going to try to go deep to Blackman. Incomplete. Going over everyone's head. Gerard Powers had good coverage.
This defense for Indianapolis going 3-4 rather than 4-3, which means they have 3 guys with their hand on the ground at the snap rather than 4. And the other 4 guys are all linebackers now. It also means Robert Mathis, for all those years, he had his hand on the ground when the ball was snapped. Now he stands up. It's much more confusing for the offensive line to sort through who's actually rushing the passer, and it forces some one-on-one matchups in pass protection.
3rd and long. They have to get it beyond the 42 for a first down. Gabbard with lots of time, and incomplete over the head of Thomas. Way over the head of Thomas.
This is Mathis once again with his hand on the ground, as he has had his whole career. Hits the tight end, Jones-Drew, then the running back, and then the right tackle. You don't think they're paying a little bit of attention to Robert Mathis? Mercedes Lewis gives him a shot. Maurice Jones-Drew gives him a shot, and then he has to get to the offensive lineman who can pass protect.
Hilton standing back at his own 23, awaiting the punt from Brian Anger, the rookie. Anger punted 9 times last week. This is another good one. Fair catch called for and made at the 15. That's where Andrew Luck will go back to work. A 52-yard punt. 13:25 left in the half. Celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month with the NFL. Visit NFL.com/Espanol, official Spanish language home of the NFL, for game highlights, fantasy football, and a first look at your team's Hispanic Heritage Month celebration. That's at NFL.com/Espanol. Back in Indianapolis, Andrew Luck 4-5 for 61 yards and a touchdown.
Hey, stay home, Mikey.
Empty backfield. From the shotgun on first down. Intended for Donnie Avery. Crowd wanted a flag, but won't get one. It'll be 2nd and 10.
Derek Cox back in the lineup, and you can see why. Well defended right there. He's been out with a hamstring injury since early in the preseason. There was some doubt as to whether he'd be in today, but he got the call late in the week, made enough progress, and right there, excellent job at the corner.
Avery, the veteran wide receiver, Steve, who's back healthy. He was brilliant last week with 9 catches for 111 yards against the Vikings. Rick Ballard, the rookie, is in the backfield. 2nd and 10 for the Colts. Luck will throw again. over the middle, incomplete. Reggie Wayne looking for the flag, and he gets one. It's late, but he gets one nevertheless.
That was very late. The Jaguars don't like it.
There's no foul on the play. Defensive pass interference. The ball is deemed uncatchable.
There you go.
Third down.
Let's take another look.
And Reggie Wayne coming across. You see as he turns it, and right there you can't hit him 5 yards down the field, and that ball was deemed uncatchable. I think that was a good call by the official. Even though there was contact, that ball was in the air, and Reggie Wayne was never going to catch it.
Weldon Moore has checked in for the Colts on 3rd and 10 from their own 15-yard line. Luck incomplete. In and out of the hands of Hilton. And we have another marker down at the 31.
Derek Cox was tied up with Hilton the entire route. Hilton doing his best he could to get away, and Cox would not let him free. Watch as they just get tied up, and Cox has got him all the way down the field, and Hilton just can't get away from him. And you can only hit him once within 5 yards.
There are 2 fouls on the play. Holding, offense number 26. Pass interference, defense number 21. Those penalties offset. 3rd down.
Derek Cox, who had not played until this week, he was out with a hamstring after missing 10 games last season. Jacksonville happy to have him back. Winston Collie back as well. Missed the first 2 games with a concussion. 1,800 yards, 16 touchdowns in his 41 career games with the Colts. So they'll replay 3rd and 10.
23.
Gets away. Has some running room. Showing great speed and brought down hard at the 33-yard line by William Middleton, who was in the nickel package, but a pickup of 18 yards, and that's one of the things that surprises people about Andrew Luck, his speed and how athletic he is.
Well, he ran the same 40 time as Cam Newton when Cam Newton came out after winning the Heisman, and Middleton puts a good lick on Luck right here, a good hit, but Luck weighs 230 pounds, and while Middleton put a good hit on him, he's only a $190, so you know Luck's going to get up from that hit.
First down for Indianapolis. Ballard swarmed under at the 33-yard line. DeAnthony Smith. Andrew Luck, we talked about how he can run when he needs to. He averaged nearly 6 yards per carry at Stanford. He ran a 4.59 at the combine, identical to what Cam Newton ran a year before.
And that last shot there of him running down the far sideline in the Stanford uniform, that'll give you an idea of how much ground he can cover.
Ballard stays in the game. Luck from the shotgun. Swing, and you don't see that very often. Off his shoulder pads and incomplete.
A quick release by Luck, and this is just right in behind, curls right in behind Dwayne Allen, the tight end, and that's the idea. The tight end runs up through there, gets the defense to follow him a little bit, and Wayne just hooks up right behind him and makes it an easy throw. Obviously should have been a completion.
Came in needing 86 yards to reach 12,000 for his career. In his 12th year out of the University of Miami. So 3rd and 10 for Indy. They come in the blitz. Luck again with running room, and he's going to run for another first down. And this time he slides down in plenty of time.
Jacksonville brings 6 men on the rush, the 4 down linemen, and then the 2 linebackers green dog, meaning when the running back steps up to pass protect, they rush. And there's just nobody in the secondary. You see the 4 guys there, and then Pusluzny and Landry come up late on the rush. There's just not enough guys in the secondary, and when Luck breaks contain, he sees it, tucks the football, and makes the nice gain. Smart decision by Luck.
So 2 consecutive conversions on 3rd and 10 on runs by Luck. That was good for 13 yards. Luck will throw. Going deep. Avery underthrown and incomplete. Dwight Lowry, the free safety, had a shot at it.
Well, as you see, Avery gets open down here. This ball just can't, and Luck told us Avery's the only guy out there that can outrun my arm. He just held on to it too long. You see Avery's behind Lowry, and Lowry just can't pull it in. He took the hit, but he held on to that football just a little too long. If he gets rid of it, Avery got behind Lowry, and Lowry just couldn't hang on to the interception when it turned out to be an underthrow.
So 2nd and 10. Luck 0 for 4 on this drive. They keep it on the ground. 2nd down. No running room for Ballard. Bosworth made the stop. The nephew of the former NFL linebacker, the Boz, Brian Bosworth. And take a look at the leading rusher at the moment for the Colts. It's Andrew Luck. 2 carries for 32 yards.
And they were smart carries too. Tucked it away, avoided the rush, and took advantage of what the defense gave him. And those are great ways to keep a drive alive. But on the 3rd and 12, you can't count on your quarterback to run for it.
Weldon Moore is back in at running back with Luck. Again, plenty of time out into the flat. That's Allen, the tight end. He had an outstanding college career at Clemson. That school's first winner of the John Mackey Award as the nation's top tight end, named, of course, for the late former Colt, who's enshrined in the Hall of Fame. Rasheed Mathis made the stop after a pickup of 5, so that will bring up 4th and 6th in the punting unit.
Yeah, a much better job this week by the Jacksonville defense of tackling. You see Rasheed Mathis making that stop. First guy to the football makes the tackle, and that results in the punt more often than not.
Thomas standing back at his own 10-yard line. High punt. Fair catch made at the 12 by Thomas. A 37-yard punt. 9:14 left to go in the half. 7-3 Colts.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by FedEx. FedEx does more than shipping. FedEx, solutions that matter. E-Trade, works beautifully. And by Outback Steakhouse. It's always fresh in the Outback.
Steve Sabol and his father Ed, who really changed the way we looked at professional football. It was always more than a game when we saw it through the lens of NFL films. 1st and 10. Maurice Jones through. Tough running inside.
Once again, both these offenses starting to find it tough sledding now. You see their first 3 possessions. That first drive was exceptional by Jacksonville, even though they settled for the 3 points. And then having trouble getting it going again. You see right there, first down to Maurice Jones-Drew. They need somebody else to draw attention of that defense until Gabbert can start throwing the football more effectively.
Greg Jones is back in the game now. That was him in motion as he resets to the left side. Mojo, a big hole up the middle for Maurice Jones-Drew. And the rolling ball of knives goes out to the 30. A pickup of 19. Zivakowski made the stop.
He's going to come right up through the middle of the defense. The linebackers will see it immediately, but they have no answer. Watch as the offensive line spreads out, gets to the 2nd level. Great job up inside by Jones. Mike Mularkey said he's never been around a better fullback than Greg Jones. He said he is an absolute wonder. Great leader, great professional. He's an asset, and you saw it on that play.
61 yards on 10 carries, and they go back to him. Good penetration by the Colts. He's brought down after a gain of 1. Antonio Johnson, in his 6th year out of Mississippi State, made the stop.
You know, in the years I've been around the NFL, and this week where you kind of get nostalgic because of the passing of Steve Sable. You think back around the great players you've seen play. And in this instance, Maurice Jones-Drew kind of reminds me of a guy I used to grow up watching, in Earl Campbell. Guys just get tired of tackling that guy. He is so hard to bring down. And in the 4th quarter, he makes great yardage.
With Tyler Rose, and we may have had some penetration by Antonio Johnson before the snap. Now everybody's pushing and shoving, and this is one of the things that people are concerned about with the replacement officials, that there's a lot more kind of extracurricular activity, seeing what they can get away with on the field with these referees, these officials rather. And you need some early flags to put an end to it.
Absolutely, you're right. You've got to throw the flag on that. And even if it seems like a ticky-tack call, it comes back and pays dividends later in the game, because these players, the intensity level is not going to go down. It has to be taken down by the officials with a flag and with some discipline, with some penalties. Otherwise, it starts to get turned up higher and higher, and it becomes retaliatory. And it doesn't go away until the flags come out. And so if you can throw those flags early on instances like this, like the officials have done here, you got a chance of getting the game going.
Taking their time to sort through this.
And this is one of the things that, you know, it doesn't seem complicated when you watch these games normally. And then you start to think about what entails is where the ball needs to be snapped, who threw the flag, and what the problem is.
There are 2 fouls on the play. There's offsides defense. By rule, that penalty is declined. Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, is against the offense. The enforcement will be at 5:15. The 5-yard penalty is disregarded. The 15-yard penalty will be enforced from the previous spot, 2nd down.
Yeah, it's not the offsides that they're calling. It's the retaliation, because the guy came through, made a hard tackle on a play that should have been blown dead. Right inside on the nose. You see there, and there's no question he was offsides. And then you see the retaliation. The offensive linemen don't like their quarterback getting hit like that. And you're always going to get a confrontation. We saw what happened in the New York Giants game when there was a kneel down at the end of the game and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers rushed the passer on a kneel down play. That's what's going to happen all the time.
That was Mike Brewster, the left guard, who got into it a little bit. Play action. Screen to Jones. To the 26. Gain of 9. Ray Jones, powerful fullback. He can also, you saw, can catch the football. Not a guy you necessarily want to see coming at you with a full head of steam.
Yeah, he was the guy that really got up slowly on the opening kickoff of this game, gathered himself. Now he's back in there, and no question the Jaguars need him in a position that seems to be being phased out of the National Football League, that fullback. Greg Jones still making a name for himself out there.
3rd and 15. They have to go to the 40 for a 1st down. Gabbert underneath. Mercedes Lewis. Caught by an ankle and tried to drag for a couple of extra yards. Ends up gaining 7. And here's Corey Redding. Came over from the Ravens, where he played for Chuck Pagano. He's been tremendous.
Absolutely. As Pagano pulls his defense off the field, that's once again the Jaguars can point the finger at themselves, saying, you know, that the personal foul stopped that drive. We would have gotten a 1st down. We had the yardage after the penalty, but we were too far in the hole.
T.Y. Hilton. He was the Sun Belt Conference Player of the Year in 2010. He lets that go out of the end zone for a touchback. A 67-yard punt as Andrew Luck takes the field once again. Coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report, join JB, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, and Coach Cowher for all the latest NFL scores and highlights from Week 3. That's all coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report. 5:30 left to go in the opening half here in Indianapolis. Colts take over leading 7-3. Brown. 28-yard line. Derek Cox made the stop.
Now this running game would really help. And you look there, there's two leading rushers for each team. One's the quarterback of the Colts, and of course you expect Maurice Jones-Drew, 11 carries for 62 yards. That's a bundle.
Brown with 93 yards and a touchdown on 25 carries through week 2. Second and short. Good penetration by Julian Stanford, the outside linebacker. And the result is a loss on the play for the Colts.
We said a moment ago, I mentioned that Jacksonville had trouble tackling a week ago. Not so here. Stanford coming right through the line, making that play in the backfield. This Jacksonville defense really, along with the offense, really looked to its own problems. Its penalties, its lack of tackling, missed tackles as being a huge contributing factor to the loss last week.
3rd and 3. Attention in the backfield for Luck. Steps in. And Reggie Wayne almost let that get away from him again, but able to haul it in, and that's going to be a first down.
Yeah, he's only going to get credit for one catch, although he caught it twice. As this ball comes in, Andrew Luck does a nice job of stepping up into the pocket, waiting for the deeper route of the pattern to come open as Wayne right in between the hashes. You see there, he starts to look around before the ball gets there. He can feel the safety coming, although the safety didn't show up in time to hit him.
13 yards on the play, 1st and 10 from the Colts 40. Brown picking his way out to the 43. Stanford again made the stop.
That's a running game that is complimentary right there. Just a nice solid 4-yard gain on first down to get you into second and manageable, to keep you ahead of the sticks so you're never in a 3rd and long position. Great for a young quarterback because it also brings in the running game into the 3rd down package. You don't always have to throw on 3rd down.
Inside of 3 minutes remaining in the half, 2nd and 6 for Indianapolis. To the sideline, that's caught by Avery. Donnie Avery with a pickup of 18 yards.
You see there on the sideline now, Andrew Luck going to take his team right to the line and go no huddle as you see the Avery out and just running right at Mathis and snapping that route off, and Luck gets it off quickly in that instance, and now at the line of scrimmage calling the play on the huddle, on the go, out of the no huddle.
Avery's first catch of the game after 9 receptions, over 100 yards a week ago. Movement before the snap and a marker down.
False start. Offense, number 75. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Well, that on Mike McGlynn, who did a nice job shifting over to center last week after Samson Satelli went down.
Satelli back in the lineup today, giving Luck actually a signal right before the snap of, actually not Luck, but the running back to tell him which way the protection was going to go. As he gets down, you'll see him put his hand, his off hand behind him to signal the back where the protection is at.
Here's 15. Luck. Intended for Hilton.
That was a high throw by Luck coming out of there.
So that will take us to the 2-minute warning. 7-3 Indianapolis. They have the football. Andrew Luck very effective in the 2-minute drill through the first 2 games of the season.
And one of the things that raises so many eyebrows for people is because to run the 2-minute drill well, a young quarterback has to have a command of so many different things that young quarterbacks aren't supposed to be able to do, but not so with Andrew Luck.
2nd and 15. Just into Jacksonville territory. Luck. Reggie Wayne. And he was able to stay in bounds.
Well, they got an injured guy over there, and it's one of the chain gang. Reggie Wayne knew he was going to get hit. There he is. He just got tangled up. Reggie Wayne knew he was going to get hit. The chain gang weren't quite so sure. He comes out and then runs right by Mathis. Great job by Luck. You see there, cutting a swath of destruction through the sidelines there. Great job by Wayne. You know he was going to get hit hard. Still managed to keep concentration and pull that football in, get both feet down.
4 catches for 42 yards for Reggie Wayne. Play took just 5 seconds off the clock, so 1:54 left to go in the half. Loading more. Tough running inside, but he's got the first down, a pickup of 3. Pusluzny made the tackle.
Yeah, they started going no huddle really before it was a crucial moment. It was 2.5 minutes left before they started going no huddle, and now they're huddling up. So they obviously saw something they wanted to take advantage of. There's really no hurry here with 1:31 to go and a couple of timeouts. Really, it's not like a normal 2-minute drill where they're hurrying up.
There's him out. Underneath to Reggie Wayne. He's got another first down close to the 20. A gain of 13.
Yeah, Reggie Wayne's going to come underneath, once again, underneath Fleener, the tight end. As the tight end goes deep, Wayne goes right underneath him into the vacated area, and Luck throws it right there quick, and they take a timeout.
1:11 left to go in the half. Colts looking for more.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. And by Geico, where 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Andrew Luck on this drive, 4 of 5 for 52 yards, all 4 completions, over 10 yards. 1:11 remaining in the half. Luck underneath, incomplete. And again, in and out of the hands of the receiver. That time it was T.Y. Hilton.
Yeah, Jacksonville running zone defense. Hilton comes across. One defender leaves him for the next defender to pick up, and is just in between those zones, and Hilton comes open, and Luck finds him, and you just got to pull that in.
Hilton getting an opportunity with limited play from Austin Collie. So 2nd and 10 for the Colts. Luck to the end zone, almost picked off. Dwight Lowry flashing across and almost came down with it.
Well, early on we saw Andrew Luck look off Brzezinski, the safety. This time he doesn't look off Lowry, and Lowry's waiting on Hilton to come up the seam. Luck tries to fit it in. You see there, Lowry can get there. That ball's not out to the sideline or the numbers. That's down the middle of the football field, and you've got to look completely away from that receiver if you want to come back to him, and Luck stared him down a little too much.
Lowry came over from the Jets early last season, had 13 stops last week against Houston. So 3rd and long. Luck, and that's caught. Reggie Wayne inside the 5, down to the 4. 16 yards. Derek Cox made the stop.
And now they're going to go ahead and probably spike this football. He's giving the clock signal. 42 seconds left on 1st down. Give him a chance to huddle up. And this, Luck does look to his right before he comes back to Wayne. He comes back to Wayne after the route developed. Wayne hops a couple of times at the top of the right. You see there, now he looks inside, then comes out late to Wayne. And that gives him a chance to get inside the 5-yard line.
6 catches for 70 yards. Reggie Wayne came in, leading the AFC in receiving yards after 2 weeks. And tied for 1st in receptions with 15. Timeout on the field called by Jacksonville. 7-3. Colts knocking at the door. Coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report, join JB, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, and Coach Cowher for all the latest NFL scores and highlights from Week 3, all coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report. 22 seconds left in the half. Colts already leading 7-3, looking for more points. Empty backfield. Receivers in the pattern. They run the slant. That's a touchdown. Moelde Moore. And Andrew Luck put that right on the money.
And another successful 2-minute drill for Indianapolis and their rookie quarterback, who looks like anything but a rookie running it. You'll watch as Moore right on the inside in the slot. He just breaks right underneath Reggie Wayne, and Luck puts it right on his face mask.
Play drive, covered 80 yards. Vinatieri boots it through for the extra point. 37 seconds left in the half. Colts extend their lead 14-3. 14 plays on the drive. Just under 5 minutes. And another nice hurry-up offense run by the youngster Andrew Luck.
Well, it's a good sign when your offense can start a drive normally and then end it by hanging on to the ball so long they go to the 2-minute drill.
And what he did last week in leading the Colts down the field to set up the game-winning field goal is rare for a rookie quarterback in the month of September. By all accounts, the last time it happened was 41 years ago when another Manning, Archie Manning, did it with the Saints in 1971. Thomas decides to bring it out. And he's tripped up at the 10 and falls forward close to the 14. Well, nobody knows the game like a quarterback. Don't miss Phil Simms, Rich Gannon, and Steve Berline on NFL Monday Quarterback. That's tomorrow at 6:30 Eastern, only on CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. Andrew Luck may come into the conversation. He has been impressive.
He's becoming more and more a topic of conversation, not just here in Indianapolis, but around the NFL.
33 seconds to work with from their own 14. Here's Jones Drew, reverses his field. And gets out across the 20 to the 21. Pickup of 7 or 8 yards.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that you lack as Jacksonville. If you can't throw the football or don't have an offense that's built to throw it around, when you get into a position where you're in the 2-minute drill or you need something to happen quickly, the running game is just not going to get it done.
Jacksonville decides to let the clock run out. They're going to go in and regroup. Down by 11 at halftime. 14-3, and we'll be back with the Verizon Halftime Report after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Back in Indianapolis, the Colts with a touchdown before halftime. They lead at 14-3. Bill McAtee back with Steve Tasker, and Andrew Luck continues to be impressive.
Absolutely. That last drive, they ended up in the 2-minute drill. He was 4 of 7 on for 40 yards, and one of those incompletions was a spike and led them down for a touchdown. Handled the clock very well and continues to impress, making good decisions, and he's getting a little help from his wide receivers. Of course, he's had a couple of drops, but he is putting the ball on the money from the pocket. He's run when it was there, and he has made accurate throws as well.
Jacksonville continuing to struggle, though, on offense for their part.
Yeah, they started out 2 of 2 on third down conversions and then reverted to what they were a week ago and have gone 0 and 4 since. 0 for 4 on third down since. So they've got to find a way to manufacture some first downs, to get back to where they were at the beginning of the game. They looked fairly impressive on their opening drive. If they can get back to that, they can get back in this football game.
All right, let's take a look now at our direct TV. Ultimate picture cam and the touchdown pass from rookie to rookie. Luck to Hilton. 40-yard touchdown strike on the Colts' very first possession. Let's take a look at the numbers from the first half, and there are the struggles on offense.
I
The
think
Jacksonville Jaguars just 41 yards passing, 118 total, 137 through the air for the Colts.
I think the stat here is the fact that the Colts can stay on the football field in third down. And that gives them more opportunities, obviously, to make plays.
Jaguars started 2 of 2 in third down conversions and then failed on their next 4. Maurice Jones-Drew, 12 carries for 70 yards in the first half, 2 receptions for 16. As usual, he is a huge part of the Jacksonville offensive production. Blaine Gabbert struggled at times as a rookie a year ago, had 11 interceptions to go with 12 touchdown passes, but the new staff has come in and they're trying to rebuild some of his fundamentals. As you look at the total yards today versus last week against Houston, the Texans, of course, have a very good defense, and a lot of people think they have a good shot to make it to the Super Bowl. Cassius Vaughn will be back deep as the Colts will have it to start the second half. Josh Scobie. There's Cassius Vaughn.
It'll be interesting to see in these first couple of series offensively, both for Jacksonville and here for the Colts as they receive this kickoff, what adjustments the two coaching staffs have made. It's always crucial in the NFL for coaching staffs like Pagano's and like Mularkey's. These guys haven't been working together all that long, and the adjustments that they make at halftime are always the difference in victory and defeat.
Underway in the second half, and Vaughn brings it out from 5 yards deep. Upended at the 17-yard line. It is something of a unique phenomenon that the fans here are so quiet when the Colts are on offense. That, of course, goes back to the years with Peyton Manning running the offense and calling plays from the line of scrimmage.
Plus, they needed to be, and it was all the more crucial when they used to play in the old dome because it was so noisy and held that noise in. I mean, it's like playing in your living room. You can hear everybody talking when it was in there, and they had to learn, and the whole crowd, you're right, is conditioned.
Just underway in the second half. Colts lead it 14-3. Muck. Again, right back to Reggie Wayne. Good for 13 yards.
Yeah, just zone coverage by Jacksonville. Reggie Wayne running out and just hooking up in the voided area in front of Cox. You'll see here, Cox is still 7 or 8 yards shy of him, and Posluszny can't get out underneath the route because Wayne widens his stem, gets wide to the sideline, and Posluszny can't get out underneath the route, so Luck hits it.
First and 10. Offset eye. Keep it on the ground. Donald Brown. Still no running room. Now just across the 30. Tyson Alu made the stop. He had 9 tackles last week against the Texans. Former first-round pick out of Cal.
You look at this defense of Jacksonville. You see there Knighton and Alu. Those guys are tough inside. Posluszny, they're very tough to run on down inside. But if you get them to the edges, you got a chance. But you know, Pagano told us, and he's a defensive guy, he goes, they're really tough up the middle.
When they run the football, a nice burst. There's a marker down. So we'll check the penalty after a gain of 10, which was right near the marker for a first down.
Holding, offense number 73, 10-yard penalty, second down.
Seth Olson, the left guard, starting for Joe Wrights, who is out with a knee injury.
That was a running play right up inside, and just a moment ago you said they're tough inside, and what they do is use Knighton's aggression and Alu's aggression against them, let them come up the field a little bit and get an angle on them to push them past the running back who's going just to the other side. You got to get angles on big guys down inside to push them in the direction they're trying to go, and then cut back underneath them, and that inside, that works.
Welding Moore, who caught a touchdown pass at the end of the first half, has checked in. That's Hilton trying to get the rookie in space awfully fast. Again, the former player of the year in the Sun Belt Conference out of Florida International. That was good for 5.
Once again, with the penalty, it gives a 3rd and long for Indianapolis. The hole, trying to come back from that, and it puts you in a hole. Both these clubs, with young quarterbacks, sometimes the margin of error just needs to be a little bigger. And when you have penalties against yourself, when you pick your own penalties, it really puts you in a hole you can't dig out of.
Colts 6 of 8 in 3rd down conversions. 3rd and 15. Luck lofts it toward the sideline. Out of bounds. Vaguely intended for Donnie Avery.
Luck getting pressured by Knighton from the inside. He really just threw this away. This is a coverage by Cox working against Avery. You see there, that's a good jam at the line of scrimmage. Might have been called hands to the face, but really it's not going to happen when it happens that fast. And you see there, Knighton getting a little love tap on Andrew Luck.
Pat McAfee, like Thomas, ready to field this at the 22. Trying to find some running room, but swarmed under, and another flag on the play. That was a 53-yard punt by McAfee, who's coming off a tremendous season last year. A franchise record 46.5-yard average. Talking things over with the line judge, Shannon Easton.
During the return, personal foul, face mask, kicking team, number 46, 15-yard penalty will be enforced for the dead ball spot. First down. Timeout.
Call that on Dominique Jones. 14-3 just underway here in the second half. Jacksonville with its best starting field position by far as they begin from their own 41. 16 left to go in the third. Their opening possession here in the second half. Maurice Jones-Drew had a productive first half. And an open field to the end zone. Maurice Jones-Drew will score. Wow, 59 yards.
We spoke about adjustments in the first half and at halftime, and Mike Mularkey obviously, along with Bob Bratkowski, saw something they wanted to try. They came out in a power formation and ran the ball to the weak side. Watch the trap block by Jones. Right there, kicks the defensive end out, and then he gets the big kick out from Mike Brewster coming around and kicking out on the end of the line of scrimmage, and Maurice Jones-Drew squeezed it up inside, and you can bet they talked that over at halftime and wanted to try it first thing out of the gate, and it worked.
59 yards and a touchdown, and the Jaguars are right back in it. Extra point from Scobie is good, and it's a 4-point game, 14-10. 12:05 left to go in the third. A big play from Mojo.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you gotta get DirecTV. And by the all-new 2013 Ford Escape. It's what happens when you go further.
Maurice Jones-Drew always seems to have big games against the Colts, and he's got another one over 100 yards at 129 after the touchdown run on 13 carries. He's given the Jacksonville Jaguars a boost, 14-10. Vaughn takes a knee, 7 yards deep in the end zone. Let's take another look at the touchdown and the downfield blocking.
Well, Blackman hasn't been catching very many balls, but watch as he still has a hand in this touchdown. He gets off. He's going to put a block on Antoine Bethea and gets him backpedaling, and then turns into a foot race. And because of the block, Bethea can't get back into the play. Blackman doing a nice job on the outside, and any running back will tell you, and any running game or offensive line coach will tell you, if you're going to run the ball well, everybody has to block, including the guys on the outside.
So the Colts will take over from their own 20.
Green 90! Green 90!
Keep it on the ground. Brown gets to the edge, turns it up. And there's a gain of 8 on first down. Russell Allen made the stop. And we get word that Samson Sattelli is out of the game with a knee, and his return is questionable.
Well, on this last play, Paul Puslesny takes a bad angle to get to the outside. They have the play defended, but Puslesny can't get out there fast enough to make the tackle, and he gives him the edge of the defense, and that's going to have to stop if Jacksonville wants to get him off the field.
Mike McGlynn slides over at center with Sattelli out. Then they run it. Brown, nowhere to go. Snapped up short of the first down, back at the line of scrimmage.
Well, Indianapolis has come out with about 3 tight ends. They've got every heavy body in the world on the field. They've got double tight with a wing back and a running back, and there's nobody outside the numbers. So they were completely in a power formation, short yardage, and Jacksonville stuffed them. Now they'll spread it out and let Luck work out of the shotgun.
3rd and 2. Trying to set up the screen, able to get rid of it to Reggie Wayne. He's got a first down. Terrific pocket presence from the rookie.
Yeah, he takes the time to make the run fake. Watch, he'll fake the run and then drop back and just keep going, pumps it twice, and not only is Luck poised on the front end, watch Reggie Wayne, just nonchalantly, a little one-hander there, I got it.
Pressure was coming, Steve, from Andre Branch, and did you see how Luck was able to alter his throwing motion? Pulled it down, then kind of went sidearm. So 1st and 10 for the Colts.
Blue 90! Blue 90!
Play action. Luck, lots of time. Now he's going to throw it on the move. Incomplete over the head of the tight end, Dwayne Allen.
You talk about Luck and the way he throws the football, like on that last play when he adjusted his motion, and on this play when he slides around in the pocket. It really gets back to what Reggie Wayne told us when we sat down with him. Nothing's too big for him. Nothing gets under his skin. He never seems to be flustered. And even on that play, as you see Reggie Wayne, 20th player in NFL history with 12,000 yards. He's seen a thing or two in this league, and I don't know that he's ever seen anything like Andrew Luck. He wasn't around when Peyton Manning was a rookie, but Luck is special.
8 catches for 88 yards. Right through the air again. Underneath, the Collie makes the catch, dropped right away at the 38 after a pickup of 6, and now Collie is still down on the field.
And it looked like he grabbed his knee. Now, Austin Collie has been a guy who has struggled with concussions and injuries his whole career. And you hate to see a guy stay down like that when he just got back into the game.
Timeout on the field with 9:45 left to go in the 3rd. Austin Collie being helped from the field, cannot put any pressure on that right leg. He had grabbed his knee when he was down on the turf. So obviously just coming back after the concussion, and now this. Very tough stretch for Austin Collie. Third and 4 for the Colts. Ball spotted at the Indianapolis 39. Luck able to get rid of it, incomplete. That was intended for Kobe Fleener. So the Colts will have to punt.
this is what Austin Collie has been battling.
At Philadelphia, he suffered a concussion. Play over the middle, missed the next Colts game. Then against Jacksonville, another concussion. He missed the rest of the season. And this preseason, hit in the head by, in the Steelers game, diagnosed with a third concussion. Mike Thomas back deep. Runs up the field at the 23. Caught by an ankle and brought down right away. 9:20 left to go in the third. Colts lead at 14-10.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by State Farm. For auto, home, life, and banking, get to a better state. And by Internet Explorer. Welcome to a more beautiful web.
Jaguars ready to go from their own 25-yard line. Trying to build off the big play by Maurice Jones-Drew, the long touchdown run. They trail 14-10. Gabbert underneath to Greg Jones, incomplete. Well, it's the mother of all weddings on the season premiere of How I Met Your Mother, followed by the series premiere of the new comedy Partners. That's tomorrow starting at 8, 7 Central, only CBS. 2nd and 10 after the incomplete pass. One play on the last drive, the 59-yard run by Mojo for the touchdown. Goes through again. Picks up a couple.
You know, both these teams with these young quarterbacks, sometimes they take a little more heat than they should. I think both teams have had too many drop balls today. Even guys like Reggie Wayne drop. You saw Greg Jones drop one for the Jacksonville Jaguars a moment ago. I think the more the league becomes a passing league, the more you see drops. There's no question there's more opportunity to be dropped. But I think it's almost rampant around the league. You have guys dropping footballs that we see usually guys catch.
3rd and 8. Wobbly pass intended for Mike Thomas, who was well covered by the left cornerback Vontae Davis.
That ball was tipped at the line of scrimmage, and then it hit Davis right on the back. Watch, this ball gets hit, I believe, right as it comes out. Looked like it did get hit up inside.
Anger. Fielded by Hilton. Tries to reverse direction and can't do it. Spun down with no return by Kevin Elliott. A 46-yard punt. Nice play on special teams, but a marker's down.
This one's back at the line of scrimmage.
All the way back at the 22-yard line of Jacksonville.
Prior to the kick, holding kicking team number 88. 10-yard penalty will be enforced from the dead ball spot. First down.
Call that on Zach Potter. So 8:20 left to go in the third.
Again, Andrew Luck having a chance to get back on the field. Hasn't been as productive in this half as he was in the first half, particularly late in the first half. Defensive adjustments by Jacksonville starting to pay dividends.
15 of 27 for 166 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions.
They finally marked off the penalty yardage. Give the Colts a chance to huddle up and call the play.
Mike has done a very good job taking care of the football after all those turnovers on opening day. 51. Vic Ballard is in the backfield. The rookie 5th-round pick out of Mississippi State.
Run.
Ballard fights his way across the 40 to the 41-yard line. Pusluzny made the stop, the former second-round pick by Buffalo. Found a home with the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Just been informed Austin Collie did suffer a knee injury as it looked, and he will not return today.
Spotted just beyond the 41. Allard stays in the game. Good snap, 2nd and 5. Allard gets it. Pinballs his way close to the 45.
I think it's evident that the Colts have decided to start running the football and doing a lot of it. And it's been pretty successful. It brings up a 3rd and 1 on this drive, and they've done it pretty effectively with Vic Ballard, although Satelli is on the sidelines.
Ballard has shown some speed also in bouncing to the outside over the last couple weeks. He saw extended action last week against Minnesota. 3rd and 1. Play action. And that is caught by Dwayne Allen, the tight end, a 1st down.
This throw has to be on target for Allen to make this catch, because he gets hit hard by Mathis as soon as he grabs it, and does manage to hang on just past the marker. You can't defend it much better than that unless you gamble and try and jump the route. Mathis right there to try and knock it loose, just can't get it done. Great job by Allen.
So 1st and 10 near midfield. Luck will go to the air, and that's picked off. A terrible pass. Pusluzny laterals it. Laterals it to Dewan Landry, and Jacksonville has a turnover.
Yeah, and you're right. That was a bad throw, and Luck knows it. He rips his helmet off in disgust. Threw it down, looking right into the sun, and Pusluzny pulled it down. I don't know if he couldn't see him or what, but it was a bad decision.
Big play by the Jacksonville defense. Sets the table for the Jacksonville offense at the Indianapolis 45. 7th career interception for Pusluzny. Mojo battling to the 40.
If you look back at the interception, Pusluzny's going to drop back from the middle of the football field and drop right back deep down the middle, and Luck just throws it right to him. He underthrows Reggie Wayne going down the middle of the field. Wayne, the ball should have been way up by the 20-yard line, and Pusluzny underneath Wayne. And for the first time today, Andrew Luck acted like a rookie quarterback.
And look who made the tackle, and a pretty good one. Maurice Jones-Drew lowers his shoulder, fights his way down to the 36. Pickup of 4. That'll bring up 3rd down and short.
Not only was the throw like a rookie quarterback, the tackle was like a rookie quarterback, because veteran quarterbacks don't make tackles.
That is a good point.
But you gotta love the fact that he wanted a piece of that guy.
Not afraid to mix it up. It's a big man himself. Maurice Jones-Drew approaching 150. 3rd and 1. Jones, the fullback.
The official on the near side gives him past the 35 into the 34, and the one on the far side gives him shy of that line. And now they're going to give him the 1st down.
The indication is it will be a 1st down.
The line is, yeah, and he does get it. He does get it. And I think the ball was spotted just across, and I think he could have gotten even a little more.
So a fresh set of downs for Jacksonville. 4.5 minutes remaining in the 3rd. 14-10 Colts. Gabbert to Jones in the flat. And there's some big hitting on that play. To the 32-yard line, a pickup of 3.
And Jones chipping on Robert Mathis and then releasing into the route. Watch at the bottom. Actually working as Hughes there. He chips and then just turns around, and Gabbert throws it right to him. Gabbert told us, you know, so much of his first year, the 14 starts he had, he spent trying to make plays. And Mike Mularkey said, you know what, make completions and the plays will come later. So he takes the quick completion.
Jones-Drew. Down inside the 30. Close to the 28. That was a pickup of 3.
And center Brad Meester lost his hat.
Keely Moala made the tackle in his 4th year out of USC. Former 2nd-round pick.
About Jacksonville's staying on the field, getting themselves a 3rd and 5 right here, and this is where they need to be in order to make sure that the defense of the Colts can't tee off on Gabbert. There's still a chance Jones-Drew could get handed this ball.
They don't blitz, but Gabbert is leveled. Drake Lewis in his 2nd year out of LSU, the 3rd-round draft pick. Had a beat on him.
He came very late, but he came very fast as Gabbert steps up. He's right in his face. Lewis right in Gabbert's grill as Gabbert just starts to throw this football. He tries to stop it. Lewis closed that gap in a heartbeat. What a quick move for the big fella down inside. 2nd year out of LSU. He can move for a guy that's well over 300 pounds. He closed that gap really fast.
Josh Scobie already has a 44-yard field goal. This from 47 yards away. And it's good. And now it's a 1-point game after the 47-yard field goal with 2:55 left to go in the 3rd. 14-13 as the Jaguars have inched their way back into this one. Less than 3 minutes to go in the 3rd.
10 straight points here in the 3rd for Jacksonville to get back in. It looked like it might get out of hand at the end of the 1st half when Luck looked so effective in the 2-minute drill, putting that touchdown on at the end of the 1st half to go up 14-3. Jacksonville came out after halftime, a couple of adjustments, and they have stymied the Colts offense, and the big play by Jones-Drew got him back in it big.
Luck with his first interception since week 1. 7 plays on the drive. It just went 16 yards. Scobie true with the 47-yard field goal. He's now 5 of 5 in field goal tries this season.
When coaching staffs dissect games, they look for 7-play drives, and what happens is you do the study, it shows you that it changes field position. If a drive can go for 7 plays, usually the other team will be, even if you don't score, they'll flip the field and the other team will have a long field to go even if you can't score points. So 7-play drives are key, and that one resulted in points for Jacksonville.
Of course, these fans have seen enough of Josh Scobie. He had his career long 59 yards to beat the Colts 2 years ago. He's got a big leg. Had one of the best seasons ever for a Jacksonville kicker, connecting on 92% of his field goal tries last year, 23 of 25. Perfect so far this year. Vaughn will bring it out. It's by the first wave, trying to get to the edge. And pushed out of bounds after a nice return at the 26-yard line. In celebration of Hispanic Heritage Month, the Colts hosted a free football camp at the Indiana Farm Bureau Football Center for more than 200 Hispanic youngsters on Tuesday, September 11th. And everybody had a great time. Tossing it around. Colts have been quiet here in the 2nd half. 2:49 left to go in the 3rd. They take over from their own 26. Brown alone in the backfield. Luck, short drop to the sideline. And ruled a catch by Donnie Avery. For 15 yards.
That was a dynamite catch by Avery right on the sidelines, and a great throw from Luck, throwing it from the left hash to the right sideline, 15 yards down the field. That's a long throw, and it was right on the money. Over the underneath defender, and a great toe touch by Avery and a great grab.
I think they may have found a diamond in the rough in Avery. Bruce Arians, the Colts offensive coordinator, had him ranked as the #1 receiver in the draft when he came out in 08. To keep it on the ground with Brown. Of course, he paid dividends last week with 9 catches for 111 yards against Minnesota. Quiet today, though. Pick up a 4 from Brown.
As they stay ahead of the down markers, and one thing that's plagued them this half has been a couple of penalties that put them in 1st and 15 and 1st and 20 with a hold. And now they finally get a 2nd and 6 and keep them on schedule.
9 carries for 28 yards. Still trails Luck, who has 32 yards on 2 carries. Luck will throw on 2nd down. Nice defensive play. Swatted him away by Rasheed Mathis. The pass intended for Avery.
And Luck, they're coming to, it's probably 3rd option. As you see there, Wayne coming across shallow and Avery right behind him. Wayne gets jumped by both linebackers, and Mathis does a great job just staying with his guys. You see, Luck pulls the string and pulls it back, gives the pump fake, and Donnie Avery coming in just can't get enough separation from Mathis.
Colts 8 of 12 now in 3rd down conversions. Empty backfield, shotgun on 3rd and 6. Luck incomplete. Again, trying to hit Donnie Avery. Couldn't haul it in, so the Colts will have to punt.
Once again, right here, and I consider that a drop. I know the pass is behind him, no question. It's a good job by Middleton. I think you got to pull that in.
Thomas standing back at the 25. Angle toward the sideline, and it will bounce out of bounds at the 16. They actually mark it at the 15. Well, in 2 days, you can't miss Dennis Quaid and Michael Chiklis in the world premiere of Vegas. Premiering Tuesday at 10, 9 Central. Vegas, only CBS. Here's the looks of a terrific show. Upcoming in 2 days here on CBS. 40-yard punt. He spotted at the 15, and that's where the Jaguars will take over, trailing by 1. There have been some movement before the snap. Jones-Drew gets it. Markers down. Zivakowski made the stop.
This is going to go against Indianapolis.
Offside. Defense number 98. 5-yard penalty. 1st down.
Call that on Mathis. 4-time Pro Bowler trying to get a jump. He talked with us about how different it's been to drop back in coverage after spending his entire career going forward and chasing quarterbacks. He said, you know, it's been a bit of a change, and he's been playing without his partner, Dwight Freeney, who was injured in the opener, hurt his ankle against the Bears in Week 1. 1st and 5 after the penalty. Jones-Drew, another nice hole up the middle, and he's close to another 1st down. Looks like he has it by almost a yard.
And this defense is a totally new, revamped philosophy, as we spoke about a little bit in the 1st half. Mathis, he said they asked him to change positions. He said, oh no, and he went through the OTAs. He said how strange it was to run away from the guy who was dropping back to pass. But he did get, he said that all of a sudden there was a little bit of method to the madness. He started getting better, and all of a sudden 3 sacks later in 2 games, he's loving his new role.
6 straight going back to last year with a sack. Meanwhile, Jones-Drew right at 150. 18 carries with a touchdown. Gabbert incomplete. Kevin Elliott was the intended receiver, and we have a late flag.
And it looked like they were tied up well before the ball got there. Bethea was draped all over the receiver.
Pass interference. Defense number 23. Ball will be placed at the spot of the foul. Automatic 1st down.
As Vontae Davis tied up, watch as they come up. As he comes out of his break, He's got a hand, yeah, he's just pulling him. You can't, and then he's draped all over his shoulder. That's a good call by the official. So many people have noted with the replacement officials how much the players are going to try and take advantage of it. Well, he didn't get away with it there.
14 yards gained on the penalty, 1st and 10 from the 40. Jones-Drew, nothing doing outside. Another flag is down. No gain on the run for Maurice Jones-Drew.
Holding. Offense, number 33. 10-yard penalty. First down.
Call that on the fullback, Greg Jones.
Jacksonville's offense, they have not been dominant today, but they have been markedly better than they were a week ago. I think they've got to be very encouraged by that. But you see there, the penalty is still a big factor in this game. And I think a couple of defensive pass interference, but for the most part, it's been self-inflicted. Pre-snap, offsides.
Clock running. See if they get this off. Last play of the 3rd quarter. Center of the field. That's caught. Again, they go back to the rookie, Kevin Elliott. Zibikowski made the stop after a big gain. That's the end of the 3rd quarter. 14-13 is our score. We'll return after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS, home of Super Bowl 47. Ready to start the final quarter. Jacksonville ends the 3rd with their longest completion of the day, 22 yards. And already the numbers much more positive than they were last week against the Texans. 1st and 10 into Indianapolis territory. Jones-Drew picking his way for a nice gain. Down just inside the 40. Pickup of 8 or 9 yards from Mojo. Jerry Hughes made the stop.
Watch as the right guard comes out and kicks out right over here, and Jones-Drew follows him and then cuts right back inside him. Great job by Winery coming across, finding his way through the traffic, and just getting enough, really not even touching him, but getting enough of Connor to kick him out and allow Jones-Drew to squeeze up inside.
Timeout on the field. One of the Colts making his way. That's Mathis to the sideline. Not happy. We'll be back after this. We're back. Let's see if we can tell what happened with Robert Mathis on the previous play.
Well, he got tied up with Jones, and as Jones-Drew bounces outside, you can see here the interior lineman get rolled right there up on his leg.
Still being looked at on the sideline. Meanwhile, 1st down for Jacksonville. 5 yards on the carry from Maurice Jones-Drew. Connor made the stop. 20 carries now for 163 for Mojo.
Mathis starting to put his shoe back on like he's going to try and give it a go.
Jacksonville coming back. 1st and 10 from the Colts 35. Jones-Drew cuts it back inside. Spins for extra yardage. Down to the 28. Pickup of 7. Talked about how Maurice Jones-Drew has played against the Colts. He has been a real thorn in their side, averaging over 100 yards a game in 12 career outings, 5.3 yards per carry. And in the last meeting, 25 carries, 169. He's beaten that today. Now at 21 carries for 170. Total yards, including pass receptions, 186. Jalen Parmalee is checked in. Swing it out into the flat again to Elliott, the rookie out of Florida A&M. Vontae Davis made the stop, and once again, let's check in with the fellas in New York, JB and Coach Cowher with an update.
Vikings nearly flawless.
I'll tell you what, Christian Ponder, 2nd touchdown of the day to Kyle Rudolph right here. He already ran for 1. He's 20 of 30 throwing, 24-13. The Minnesota Vikings trying to pull the upset of the day. up in Minnesota in the fourth quarter.
No Viking turnovers, quarterback not sacked, 3 drives of 80 yards or more. Bill and Steve.
All right, men, thank you very much. Big play here. Colts need a stop, 3rd and 2. Mojo. And he fights his way for the first down.
And those are the kind of things that give you a little bit of a security blanket. Having a guy like Jones-Drew who on a 3rd and 2 in a crucial moment in the fourth quarter of a game you're trailing by 1, you hand him the football and he does that. Just gets the first down. Nothing fancy, but look how brutal that run is. 3 guys end up twisting him and pushing him back, but he still gets the first down. That's a security blanket.
1st and 10. Fresh set of downs for Jacksonville. Jalen Parmalee is in the game in the backfield. Gabbert from the shotgun. Lost it. And again, trying to hit Elliott. And we've got another flag down. Davis had the coverage.
Well, they were tied up once again. Both guys having a handful of each other. Vontae Davis. Working against Elliott, and they've been going at it. Elliott is one of those big, physical guys. It's a tough matchup. He's 6'3", 215 pounds, so he's a load at wide receiver.
Rookie free agent.
Pass interference. Defense number 23. The ball will be placed at the spot of the foul. Automatic first down.
They call it on Vontae Davis.
It's interesting because we talked to Blaine Gabbert, and he said, you know, Vontae Davis makes them a lot better. But right there, I mean, you can't keep your hands on the guy all the way down the field. You can complain all he wants. I don't have a problem with that call. If you're going to have your hands on the guy, you can't keep your hands on the guy as he runs down the field.
15-yard penalty, and that sets up 1st and goal from the 9. Jones-Drew running behind Greg Jones. He cuts it back inside. And then pushed back. Forward progress might have netted 1.
Yeah, different type of running play here for Jacksonville. The offensive linemen all just move out and zone block out in front. They just take off and kind of run sideways down the line of scrimmage and get the first guy each offensive lineman takes. You know, each guy that each offensive lineman comes across, they block. They don't try and cross or get any angles. They just push and let Maurice Jones-Drew find a gap, and there was none.
Colts defense looking for a stand here on 2nd and goal. Power I formation. Play action. Gabbert lofts it. And ruled an interception by Powers. Let's see if he got his feet down.
They ruled it incomplete. It was kind of a half call, not very decisive. I thought he got it. I thought he did it.
Well, the upper part of his body may have landed out of the end zone. Let's see.
Yeah, his hand came down. No, the crowd saw it on the replay. His left hand hits the ground out of bounds. The crowd thinks it's an interception. I do not.
You're going to have a challenge.
I do not. When he starts to come down, his left hand hits the white line before anything else happens. His left foot gets down in bounds.
Indianapolis is shouting the ruling on the field of an incomplete pass.
Watch his hand. See, his hand hits before anything else does. That is a good call by the official in the back. See, his hand hits before his knee does. That is an incomplete pass. Correctly called.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Toyota. 1&1 My Website, where creating a business website is easy. And by Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Here we go.
11:09 left to go.
We'll give you a couple of looks at this.
After review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. Incomplete pass.
And there you see it. His hand is down while his knee was off the ground.
Powers already pointing as he hadn't even stopped sliding, and he was pointing to his foot, indicating I had my foot down, but it was the hand that caused the problem.
And there you see
Jacksonville will retain possession, and it will be 3rd and goal.
referee giving Pagano an explanation. He brings up a 3rd and goal.
From the 8, Colts lead it by 1.
The crucial thing on this down for the Jaguars, whether they score a touchdown or not, they've got to end this play with the ball. They cannot turn it over.
Gabbert with time, incomplete. Threw it behind Kevin Elliott. So that will bring out the field goal unit.
Gabbert puts some heat on this one. And he's just not ready. And that's just a mistimed route. Gabbert put it right on the money. And Elliott just wasn't ready for it when he had his head around. That was there to be had. That was a missed opportunity.
Scobie gives Jacksonville the lead with his 3rd field goal of the game. 26 yards, 16-14 Jacksonville, 11:02 left to go. Jacksonville with 13 unanswered points. And they lead at 16-14. The Colts with 188 yards of offense in the first half. Just 69 total yards of offense here in the second half. Cassius Vaughn is back deep. Fielded 5 yards deep in the end zone. Vaughn brings it out. And a late flag. Vaughn is brought down short of the 20. Mike Harris with a nice open field tackle, but let's check the penalty.
During a return, holding return team number 54. After this is the goal, 1st down.
Well, Andrew Luck, let's take a look at his day so far. He's had some good moments and some tough moments as well.
Well, he's done it all. He's run the ball, sacked, now he's making tackles, unfortunately for him.
On the interception. Take over 1st and 10. Long field. From their own 8. Donald Brown, a little bit of running room. Lowers his shoulder out to the 12, a pickup of 4.
And this second half, the Colts offense has really not done anything. As you mentioned, their yardage is way down. I think they've gone a little bit conservative. They've run the football a lot. We mentioned it in one of their first couple of possessions. They ran the football a lot and took the ball out of Andrew Luck's hands. But sooner or later, when they're trailing like this, they're going to have to put the ball in the air to make some hay.
76 yards on the ground for the Colts, 185 through the air. Look to throw on 2nd and 6. Dwayne Allen, the tight end, with a 1st down out to the 28. 17-yard pickup, and Russell Allen made the stop.
Watch his luck. He steps up into the pocket and looks, and then comes back to his secondary receiver, Allen. And that's a nice job by Andrew Luck, standing in the pocket, going back down his progression and finding the open guy.
Great protection from the Colts offensive line. Brown tries to kick it to the outside. Can't quite turn the corner. Out of bounds at the 35, a pickup of 5. Middleton, the nickelback, made the stop.
And in doing so, they set themselves up for a 2nd and short. This is going to, starting inside their 10 on this drive, this is going to take a lot to get this ball down the field. Jacksonville playing that defense where they're going to make you take 13 plays to score a touchdown if you can do it.
Green 80! Green 80!
Leslie again.
Almost had another one. That was intended for Reggie Wayne.
He had one a few minutes ago, and this one, he's just following Luck's eyes, and this ball comes out so fast. But Luck really doesn't have time to look anywhere else. Reggie Wayne going up the seam, that was well defended. And he would have been well served to hang on to that football a little longer and go to a different option. Reggie Wayne, he was not going to fit that football in. Poslusny followed him right to the spot and just couldn't catch it.
Empty backfield. 5 receivers in the set. 3rd and 5. Luck is going to run it. Slides down and a first down. 7 yards on the carry for Andrew Luck.
That wasn't a vicious hit on the slide, but it's still one that should be flagged in this day and age in the NFL. Luck's going to come in. As soon as he starts to slide, you're not allowed to go down on him. You're not allowed to fall down on him, go in leading with your forearm, tackle him. You can touch him down, and that's it. And Russell Allen gets away with a little bit of something he wouldn't had the regular officials been involved.
Took an elbow from Allen, but no flag. 1st and 10 for the Colts. They trail by 2. 8.5 minutes left to play. The delay to Brown with some room. And into Jacksonville territory. Good second effort, pushed out of bounds. Close to the 48-yard line. DeJuan Landry, the strong safety.
And this is a play that has all the looks of a fake run, but watch as he comes out. Luck is going to come all the way out, and this is exactly the kind of thing they do on their play action, but Luck gives it to him. The offensive lineman dropped back to pass set, and Luck hands it off to Brown. It looks completely like a fake run because the offensive lineman retreat in the run play.
Pushed out of bounds just short of the first down, so Brown will try to get it up the middle and does. Tough yards for Donald Brown in his 4th year out of UConn, the Colts' 1st-round pick in 2009.
And this is, Attorney, this is no question the best possession of the second half for the Indianapolis Colts, and it couldn't come at a better time. 7 minutes, 20 seconds and counting, and they have put together a drive starting from inside their 10 out past midfield. It's exactly the time they needed it.
380! Mike 51! 380! 290!
They come on the blitz. Luck once again makes a play with his feet, and that time he'll get a flag.
Yeah, we said I thought they got away with one earlier when Luck tried to slide. This time he's going out of bounds. They're not going to let him get away with it. Allen once again chasing him to the sideline, lays out and tries to get there and gets there late. Luck showing his wheels. I mean, he really does cover a lot of ground. At 6'4", 230 pounds, Luck, he sees the pressure immediately.
Unnecessary roughness, play hit out of bounds. Number 50.
Yeah, they will call that replacement or not. They'll call that every time.
Yeah. And I agree. I mean, if that's the rule and that's the way you're used to seeing it called, you got to know you're not going to do it. And this is one of the things where sometimes the inconsistencies of week-to-week officiating now with the replacements, sometimes the players will try that thinking they got away with it once. It's going to happen again.
10-yard run plus the penalty.
390!
So 1st and 10 from the 21. Brown left side gets to the edge and out of bounds inside the 20.
Brown doing a nice job getting to the corner. And the Colts looking really impressive on this drive. Running the football at will. Luck completed a couple of throws and of course got the help from the penalty, but 2 runs by Luck and now the one by Brown really set them up inside the 20-yard line.
Colts threatening 2nd and 7. Brown again tries to bounce it to the outside. Not much running room. DeJuan Landry finally forced him out.
You know, the Colts have tried a 3 tight end set a couple of times today, and they have not been successful doing it, trying to run the football with a power formation, double tight ends with a wing back, and then handing the football off inside. And Jacksonville has done a great job in stonewalling the push the Colts are hoping to get. They've been much more successful spreading the field and letting their running back pick his spot, or even letting Luck pull the football down and run with it.
11th play of the drive coming. Big play here on 3rd and 5. Luck from the shotgun. Finally goes underneath. That's caught by Allen. And he's close to a first down. Let's see where they spot it.
It's going to be very close. I think he's going to be a yard shy of the first down, which will bring up 4th down. And good protection by the offensive line. Luck puts it right on Allen, but he's just shy of the first down, and that brings on Vinatieri.
4th and 1. Vinatieri with his 24th career game-winning field goal last week to beat Minnesota, the longest of his career at 53 yards in his 17th season. Now we have a stoppage of play.
Delay game, kicking team, number 4. 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
That doesn't help. Yeah. They just, they just got caught napping. And it's not like Vinatieri is, can't get it there now from 36 yards instead of 31 yards.
36 yards away, and no good.
That's a bad penalty when they just were too lazy to get out there. They didn't hurry, and they took their time and took a 5-yard penalty. It wasn't the distance, and yet their all-time kicker pulled it left.
And so Jacksonville still leads by 2.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by New York Life Insurance Company. And by Subway. It's Subway's birthday, and everyone is celebrating with $5 footlong faves all September long.
After the missed field goal by one of the NFL's best kickers, missed 36-yarder, Jacksonville retains the lead, 1st and 10. Jones-Drew. Tough running inside. Let's take another look at the kick. It was very close.
Yeah, and just as we kind of ho-hummed a 5-yard penalty, the ball has to completely miss the post. If the post would have extended and the ball would have clipped the post, it would be good. So if the inside edge of the ball gets any part of the edge of the pipe, that's a good kick. It counts as good, even if it would have bounced away had it hit the pipe. But the officials deemed the ball got no piece of the extended pipe, and it's no good. After a ho-hum 5-yard penalty, they blow the field goal opportunity.
2nd and 7. Jones-Drew swarmed under.
Well, Jacksonville is in their 4-minute offense, which means they're going to let the clock run. They're going to milk the play clock. They're going to let it go down as 3:36. Now the Colts have a player down, which will stop the clock.
That's Vontae Davis, the cornerback, still down on the turf. Well, tomorrow, don't miss a Two Broke Girls season premiere shocker at its new time. It's tomorrow at 9, 8 Central. Two Broke Girls only, CBS. Vontae Davis helped up. It was a big pickup, Steve, for the Colts. Acquired in a trade with Miami on August 26th. I feel like he can solidify one of those cornerback spots for the next 5 or 6 years. It's rare that a talented young cornerback becomes available.
That's because talented young cornerbacks are rare. You don't make them available, but Davis, in fact, we mentioned earlier, Blaine Gabbert said Davis changes things for them in the back end of their defense. It really was a concern for Jacksonville coming into this game.
Colts looking for a stop here on 3rd and 7 inside of 3.5 minutes remaining. Gabbert got rid of it just in time, incomplete. Again, trying to hit the rookie Elliott.
And there you have it. Colts get a stand when they need it. Gabbert trying to put it up to Elliott. Gives him a chance, but it's just high and outside. But they almost had an opportunity to go up and grab it. But Elliott gets a finger on, tips it away as Jacksonville is forced to punt.
Colts will get it with more than 3 minutes remaining. T.Y. Elliott retreats to 16 and gets it out close to the 25. A 55-yard punt and a 9-yard return. Every Wednesday in prime time, JB, Phil Simms, and Chris Collinsworth bring you America's Sunday pastime as only they can. Inside the NFL Wednesday on Showtime. Adam Vinatieri would love another chance.
3:02. Andrew Luck's going to get another opportunity to do something late in a game. It gives his team an opportunity to win it.
Remember, the Colts lost a timeout from their unsuccessful challenge after that would-be interception, so that could turn out to be a factor. Colts with 2 timeouts remaining.
51!
Welding Moore in the backfield with Luck. Trying to set up the screen. It wasn't there, so Luck will keep it.
Are you kidding me?
At the 30.
They're trying to set up a screen pass.
And there's a flag back down at the 14.
You can see in the background the Jacksonville bench was going crazy for a holding penalty. We'll see if the officials saw it.
Offense number 83. 10-yard penalty. First down.
Dwayne Allen on the hold, trying to set the screen up, and the Jacksonville Jaguars were all over that when they didn't let anybody release down the field. Right here, working against Branch, and he pulls him down right there, and that was an easy call.
Jacksonville is excited about Branch. Not big, but a quick first step, and he can turn the corner quickly. First and 20. And again, T.Y. Hilton in stride, and a big play for Indianapolis.
Throwing to the other side of the field away from Avery and Reggie Wayne. T.Y. Hilton on single coverage makes the most of it, and a tremendous throw by Luck.
32 yards, and the Colts are up in a hurry. Luck.
Oh, come on, he's over!
Incomplete.
Reggie Wayne looking at the official. He couldn't even turn around to look at that football. Aaron Ross had him wrapped up. I mean, it looked, when that ball went by, it looked like a burrito standing on there. Aaron Ross wrapped around Reggie Wayne. Reggie Wayne didn't even make an effort for the football. He thought it was an absolute no-brainer penalty. He didn't get the call.
So 2nd and 10. Ball just short of the 47-yard line of the Colts. Moore in the backfield with Luck. Stays in the block. Luck to the sideline, incomplete, underthrows Wayne.
Luck looked hesitant on that delivery. Let's see if Reggie Wayne working out. There's Ross again, gets right by him and then plants, and that's good route. He's open. You see there, that ball needed to be 5 yards deeper and 5 yards wider to the sideline. That was a poor throw by Luck, and I thought when he let that go, he almost tried to pull it back at the very last minute. He wasn't sold. It looked like somebody flashed and made him think maybe I shouldn't throw that ball.
Clock stops with 23 left to go in the game. 3rd and 10. Luck stumbles, the flag is down, incomplete pass. Wayne again, the intended receiver.
Now, this is a flag if it goes against the Colts. The Jacksonville may think about declining and taking it to 4th down and 10. They're going to take the penalty.
Holding. Offense. Number 26. 10-yard penalty. Third down.
I disagree with that. I think you go to 4th down and 10. Penalty's right there. This is Mewelde Moore, and he grabs Allen and pulls him down. There's the penalty. But I think you decline this penalty and take it to 4th down and 10 or 4th and 9 at the Colt 46 rather than making it 3rd down and 19.
11 penalties for the Colts for 106 yards. So 3rd and 20. Luck going deep. Avery just out of his reach.
Well, they went for the home run. It's a good throw by Luck, just out of reach. And you'll see here, the crowd sees the replay. Oh, yeah, he got hit early. There's no question.
Dwight Lowry got there
so
an
fast.
instant before the ball.
You're not going to catch that pass with Lowry banging in the back of the head.
He tried to make a little late adjustment, did Avery, to catch the football.
And that forces a punt.
Thomas back deep. Lets it go. And it will bounce into the end zone for a touchback. A 63-yard punt. And they'll bring it out to the 20, 1st and 10, 2:01 left to go. Take another look.
The question is, and that was right between his hands. I think if he has a chance to focus on that, I think you get a shot to the back of your head right when you're reaching for the football. You're not going to catch it. I think that you can make a case. That is pass interference. That's pass interference that was missed at a crucial spot in the game. The Colts going for the home run on a 3rd and 20 and had their guy open.
Colts with 2 timeouts. Be able to take advantage of the 2-minute warning. Jones drew. Jarrell Freeman made the stop. We have reached the 2-minute warning. Jacksonville 16-14. Adam Vinatieri with the missed 36-yard field goal try. That's the difference. Hoping to get another chance with 1:56 left to play. Jaguars by 2.
We got and I was just saying, I've seen him make so many game winners. I poo-pooed a 5-yard penalty right before that kick and ended up missing that kick. It'd be interesting to hear his thoughts on whether that 5-yard penalty distracted him in any way.
Jacksonville has fought hard with 13 unanswered points here in the second half. Facing 2nd and 6. Jones drew. Fumbled it, but got it back.
Wow.
That would have been disastrous.
That would have been a catastrophic mistake. I mean, there's nobody in the stadium that doesn't know who's getting the football.
Seeing that replay, never really tucked it away.
He was just starting to get in. You see there, Greg Jones gets stood up at the line of scrimmage. Maurice Jones-Drew runs right into the back of his fullback, and the ball pops right out.
I said it would have been disastrous. That's only if you're a Jacksonville Jaguar. If you're the Colts, it would have been tremendous. But brings up 3rd and 9. Wholesale substitution for the Colts on 3rd down. Indianapolis with one timeout remaining.
The Colts can get this first down, convert this third down. Could be the game.
Jones drew. And they're going to have to punt. Mathis popped out and called the timeout.
Well, they spread the football field a little bit to kind of give the illusion that they might throw the football, but then hand it off on the inside handoff. Jones-Drew stopped immediately, and you can tell he almost loses the football again late in this. As he starts to go down, of course, the Colts are getting all over it, trying to rip it out of his hands.
And coming up next, Matt Schaub and the Texans take on Peyton and the Broncos, or Ben Roethlisberger and the Steelers. Battle Carson Palmer and the Raiders. Check your local listings for the game in your area. NFL here on CBS. So 4th and 9. And Andrew Luck will get another chance for a game-winning drive.
Well, Maurice Jones-Drew has done all he could, but Luck with no timeouts left and 1:46, and we'll see what kind of field position he can get after this punt.
Anger standing back at his own 6. Good high kick. Hilton retreats from the 18, has some running room. Brings it out close to the 33-yard line. That would be a 61-yard punt and a 15-yard return. And we've got a man down on the field, a couple of them. But both players are up, leaving the field under their own power. And 53 yards was the distance last week for the 39-year-old Vinatieri.
They need about 35 yards of field position as it stands right now to make it a normal long field goal. And of course, if they get down to it, they may end up trying one of even longer than that as a last resort.
But 33 left to play.
This is also 4-down territory, obviously. There's no punting left in this game. The Colts are on 4-down schedule.
Luck, lots of time, great protection. Caught by Brown. Donald Brown cuts it back. Up the sidelines and out of bounds. And the Colts are in business.
Now all of a sudden, the Colts have to think about running time off the clock.
38 yards.
Right there. He gets out. Pusluzny has got him in man-to-man. He has time enough and presence of mind enough to put a couple of good moves on Pusluzny and get down the sideline, runs the crossing route. Great execution by the running back.
From the Jacksonville 28-yard line, 1:23 left to play. Wow.
Now Jacksonville starts to burn their 3 timeouts to conserve the clock that they need to be left over for them to go back down the field and get their own field goal. An enormous play in the first play of a 2-minute drill, no timeouts. There was 1:46 left on the clock, and one play puts the Colts down deep. There, he's just getting back there. The play clock goes to 0. They weren't even close to getting that field goal off. And then it results in a longer field goal that Vinatieri pulls left. And it looks like in a moment he may get a shot at redemption.
Clock stopped with 1:18 left to play. Jaguars with 2 timeouts remaining, 2nd and 9.
From this point right here, it's a 44-yard field goal if they don't gain another yard.
Let's see how aggressive the Colts are here. Avery in motion, tight formation. They keep it on the ground. Brown now close to the 25. Pusluzny made the tackle.
Jacksonville's 2nd timeout.
Last week, Vinatieri with the 53-yard game-winning field goal with 8 seconds left against Minnesota. Colts won it 23-20. Longest game-winning field goal of his career. 24th. I'd love to have a chance for number 25 here today.
You got a veteran kicker like Vinatieri. He's down there wishing for an opportunity to make another kick. And you can bet, I mean, there's no question, he knows exactly what happened on the first one to make him pull it left.
3rd and 8. Jaguars down to their last timeout. Again on the ground to Brown, and he slices through inside the 20 down to the 19.
Jacksonville letting the clock run now.
Looks like he was about a yard short of the first down.
Jacksonville.
So here comes Vinatieri.
Now comes Jacksonville with their timeout. They take the timeout. This turns into a 36-yard field goal, 37-yard field goal.
They're going to reset the clock. A few extra seconds ran off, so they're going to go back to minute 1. 4th and 1 for the Colts, and Vinatieri is out getting ready for game-winning field goal, perhaps number 25.
A guy like Vinatieri is going to do what he always does. He's going to make the kick he knows he can make. He doesn't lack for confidence, and with the miss a moment ago, no question.
37 yards out, and that is just inside that left upright. Not much margin, but it's good.
But it was good. It was inside. We've looked at the missed kick a couple of times, and that one was definitely inside of that one.
And the Colts regain the lead.
Good kickers never over-adjust. And just a slight adjustment is all it took, and that is inside, almost the same kick.
By a whisper, but it brings a roar from the hometown fans here at Lucas Oil Stadium for Adam Vinatieri. A little gray there on the side. He's been around for a while, 17 seasons in the league, 39 years old, and Josh Scobie now would love to get his chance. His career long of 59 yards came against the Indianapolis Colts 2 years ago.
This kickoff for McAfee, he'll try and put this as deep as he possibly can. No reason to even allow a return if you can avoid it. One missed tackle and you lose the football game. So McAfee will do everything he can to put this into the 6th row of the stadium.
And the back of the end zone, and Mike Thomas has no choice but to take a knee. Scobie, he has been a thorn in the side of the Colts. That was 53 yards back in 04. In 08, from 51 yards out with 4 seconds left, the Jaguars won at 23-21. And then the 59-yard game winner as time expired in 2010. Crowd on their feet here in Indianapolis. 56 seconds left to go for Gabbert. And that is caught. Cecil Shorts, are you kidding? Oh my goodness. Shorts in the end zone. Wow, what a play. that stuns everyone here in Indianapolis.
Right there on the inside of the numbers, and that ball comes out so fast, and he catches that by the back half of the football, and Jacksonville takes the lead. Tremendous throw by Gabbert. Right by.
And Sergio Brown got lost on the play and allowed Shorts to get behind him.
And they'll review this. They called it a touchdown. Shorts, as he went in the end zone, looked like his knee might have come down. And they're going to review this to make sure he broke the plane.
45 seconds
The previous
left.
play is under review.
Right here, you'll see his knee go down, but he extends this ball. I think that's a touchdown. Yeah, I don't think there's any question. He's over. His knee was almost on the goal line when he hit, and he was extended.
Cecil Shorts in his second year out of Mount Union. He was a fourth-round draft pick in 2011. 4 catches for 74 yards and a 39-yard touchdown in week 1. Temporarily gave Jacksonville the lead. He extends, and let's see if they somehow say that he had not crossed the plane, because it looked like he was already a yard deep into the end zone.
Yeah, his knee almost hits the goal line, and he's extended ahead of his knees, so I don't think there's any question. And this will tell you as well. See, yeah, no, there's any question. He's a touchdown. And the Jaguars already in the huddle. They're going to go for 2 here, which is the smart thing to do. It'll be 24-17. This review obviously comes from upstairs, as both teams are out of timeouts anyway, and challenges.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. Touchdown.
And you talk about a stunning turnaround. Just a remarkable play. Gabbert to Cecil Shorts for the touchdown.
And it looks like we're going to see Andrew Luck again.
Looks like they're set up to go for 2. Trying to make it a 7-point lead. Officials trying to sort things out.
Correction, the ruling on the field was confirmed touchdown.
All right, getting the vernacular correct.
In case you think we got it wrong.
So they'll go for it. Going for 2, 45 seconds left in the game. Gabbert changing the play. Bunch receivers to the left side. They toss it to Maurice Jones-Drew. Trying to fight his way to the goal line, and he's going to be stopped short.
Didn't get it.
So it remains a 5-point lead for Jacksonville.
Yep. Look back at the touchdown that led to that 2-point conversion. Cecil Shorts lined up way outside. He's going to break into the outside of the edge of the numbers, turn here, and Sergio Brown is just going to turn around a little bit too late. You see him right there, and that ball, as he looks back at Gabbert, the ball goes by behind his head. And Cecil Shorts, really, as I've noticed, he caught the ball on the back half of it. I mean, the ball almost got through his hands.
And Josh Scobie's not going to have to do anything. Didn't even have to try to come out and kick the extra point. So let's see if Andrew Luck and the Colts have a little more magic left.
Two-point conversion was in question. He's down. Did not make it in. And I think I like the 2-point conversion call. You give the ball to your best player. Yep.
So 22-17, late fireworks here in Indianapolis. Jacksonville with the lead, a line drive kick. Fielded on a hop. Vaughn trying to get to the outside. And he's pulled out after a nice return by Mike Harris.
Great job. It was a really poor kick by Scobie. It was low line driver, didn't stay in the air very long and bounced, and it was fielded easily, which led to the return man getting a good running start at it, and that put the coverage team at a disadvantage right away, led to a good return almost to the 40-yard line, and that gives Indianapolis a chance.
From their own 38-yard line, no timeouts remaining for the Colts. Luck, incomplete.
But Terrence Knighton got a piece of Luck's arm as he tried to release that.
31 seconds remaining. Hilton was in the area.
Luck steps up.
Luck tries to loft it incomplete. And that was intended for Chris Adams, first-year player out of Texas, El Paso.
And Chris Adams stopped running. He thought he was covered, so he quit running his route. Luck found him, and if he would have kept running, he had a chance.
26 seconds left.
As he comes out the top of your screen, he's going to take the inside release, get to the sideline. You see there, he kind of lets up.
Third down. Avery, the motion man. Luck has a man. Hilton. Wow. Clock still running.
Good job. Hand the ball to the official so it gets spotted quickly and they'll spike it.
And they'll have a chance.
It might have been offsides. Andrew Luck's pointing at Jacksonville.
36 yards on the completion.
Stumbles off the line, stays in bounds. Great catch, great throw. And the Colts are complaining right then as they spike the football that Jacksonville was not onside. No call by the official, no penalty, but now with 7 seconds, they can take a shot at the end zone.
No timeouts remaining. Anything in the middle of the field could be disastrous. Luck. Incomplete.
2 seconds left with the incomplete pass they called.
Mincy got a piece of his arm.
And they could. You might be thinking if this was a regular down and distance instead of the 2-minute drill, that might have been an empty hand fumble. No call by the official. They called it an incomplete pass, and it gives the Colts one last shot. And this is the last play. Jacksonville with 7 guys inside the 5-yard line, and the ball's on the 26.
Colts trail by 5. 2 seconds left. This is it. To the end zone. Incomplete. Reggie Wayne was the intended receiver, and Jacksonville has won their first game of the season. 22-17 Jaguars. And a disappointing loss for the Indianapolis Colts, who looked like they had the game in hand.
Once again, coming into Indianapolis, Maurice Jones-Drew was a huge force for Jacksonville, and Blaine Gabbert did his part as well.
Final score 22-17. Coming up next, Houston at Denver, Pittsburgh against Oakland. For Steve Tasker, Bill McAtee saying so long from Indianapolis.